I found this book at a yard sale or maybe at a library, I'm not sure. But I found it interesting. Thought maybe I'd read a little bit of it. Of course, there's the upside down discard. I think that's what it was a library sale. Getting rid of the books they don't want, you know. It looks pretty interesting. So I thought I might read a little bit of it. I'm not saying one way or the other. I do have opinions, but I'm just going to read for a change or try not to put my opinion into things. It's hard not to. I found that interesting. Ooh. Starts off with the war and then the indictment. Doesn't it seem like history just keeps on repeating? And we start off with the war. Such drama. Seems like that's what our history is all about the drama. A state of war exists between the papacy and the religious order of the Jesuits, the Society of Jesus. Okay, I could probably read this, but as you can see, my hand is shaking. I'm not that coordinated, so I'm going to put this down. A state of war exists between the papacy and the religious order of the Jesuits, the Society of Jesus, to give the order its official name. That war signals the most lethal change to take place within the ranks of the professional Roman clergy over the last 1,000 years. I don't believe in all the dates and time that they give, by the way. I did it. I gave my opinion. And as with all important events in the Roman Catholic Church, it involves the interests, the lives, and the destinies of ordinary men and women in their millenniums. As with so many wars in our time, however, the Jesuits did not declare theirs against the papacy. Indeed, though, the first open skirmishes began in the 1960s. That's interesting. It took time for the effects of the war, even very profound effects, to become widely apparent, because the leaders in the war were the superiors of the order. It was a simple matter to place men of like mind in charge of the organs of power and authorities and communication through the organization. With that much accomplished, the vast bulk of Jesuits had precious little to say in the extraordinary decisions that followed. It's like a cancer. In time, there were rumblings and warnings of what was happening. A coup d'etat is taking place, one Jesuit wrote, as he looked aghast at the ease with which the desolation of the established order in the Society of Jesus is being achieved. By then, however, it was already the early 70s. The war had already been underway for nearly a decade, and such alarms were of little avail. In fact, given the strict obedience of Jesuits, a fabled and time-tested element of the old structure that the new leaders still found useful when dealing with dissenters from their strange and unfamiliar policies, the rank and file of the order were given no alternative but to go along with the changes that, in the words of another Jesuit, wrenched the Society of Jesus from under us and turned it into some monstrous entity under the guise of good goals. Now that sounds very familiar. Still in all, one might be inclined to ask, suppose there is a problem between the Roman papacy and Jesuits, how bad can it be? Call it a war if you like, but really, isn't it just another squabble in the Roman Catholic Church? And a world that finds itself teetering on the perpetual brink of annihilation, and in which half the population is starving to death, while most of the other half is pinned in the mud by one sort of injustice or another. How important can some dusty theological argument be? About as important, perhaps, as how many angels can dance on the head of a pin. The fact is, however, it is not a squabble about niceties, nor even a theological falling out between the papacy and the Jesuits that involves only scholars, clerics, and the faithful. As both papacy and Jesuits know, the effects of their policies go far beyond the confines of the Roman Catholic Church, even far beyond the nearly 1 billion Catholic men and women around the world. Almost everything that happens in this war bears directly and immediately on the major dissensions that rack every nation and people in the world. It is involved in the very heart of the rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union, for example. It bears right now on the fate and misery, on happiness of 350 million people in Latin America. It affects the deeply changing public moral code and the national consensus of the American people, the imminent preponderance in human affairs of the People's Republic of China, the fragile persistence of free Western Europe, the security of Israel, the still rickety promise of a viable black Africa just a-borning. All of these things, separate and unconnected as they may seem, are not only interwoven with one another, but are and will be profoundly influenced by the tides and outcome of the global collision between the papacy and the Society of Jesus. All wars are about power. In the war between the papacy and the society, power flows along the lines of two fundamental and concrete issues. The first is authority. Who is in command of the worldwide Roman Catholic Church? Why is that a question? It should be the creator of all and Jesus. Oops, again, my opinion. Who lays down the law as to what Roman Catholics must believe and what sort of morals they must practice? Who lays down the law? Wasn't that what Jesus was about? The second issue is purpose. What is the purpose of the Roman Catholic Church in this world? Now that is a great question. And I sure would like to find out the answer. But for now, I'm going to stop, and I'll pick it back up in a little while. Talk soon.